समवेतायुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवश्चैव किं कुरुवत Sanjaya. Translation purport given by Divine English Bhakti and Swami Srila Prabhupada. We'll read from the place where we read yesterday. First, we'll read the translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? We'll read the last two paragraphs. The word Dharmakshetra, place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven. Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably, because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjay was a student of Vyasa. Therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjay was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra, even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra, and so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation of the battlefield. Here, this interesting discussion comes now. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews and the sons of Pandu. As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. So it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhana, and others would be wiped out, and thoroughly religious persons, headed by Yudhishthira, would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra, apart from their historical and Vedic importance. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaka Dhamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarina Hare Krishna. So this this episode which we are discussing is it's very important. This is a setup. This is a setup of how the Gita actually began. See, if both sides are actually hearing. For example, let us take a situation which is quite which is quite normal in this world. What is quite normal in this world? Not to hear about the other person. Children are not listening to the parents. Parents are not listening to their parents. There is no conception like grandfather, grandmother. These children do not have that kind of association. Earlier in the joint families, they used to have they used to take the association of grandfather or grandmother, where father, mother were very busy. Busy in the sense not doing like going, working. They were taking care of the family. And then grandfather, grandmother used to teach the children what is good, what is bad. But nowadays it is completely gone. There is no conception like we should hear from our elders. And we see our parents. I haven't seen my mother like complaining on her mother-in-law or her co-sisters. She was in a joint family, not just her, every woman. They're like that, especially elderly, who are our at the stage of our mothers right now. They were very simple. They were leading a simple life. That means for them, humility, submissiveness, those are the natural qualities. Even though they don't know what this process of Krishna consciousness is. Why am I telling that is, here if you actually see the situation, it's a it's two families, Pandavas and Kauravas. Dhritarashtra's brother, Pandu, he left the body. So Dhritarashtra was blind. Technically, somehow he ensured that Kauravas would get the throne. Now, why Dhritarashtra is thinking like that, that is a discussion actually, which we'll be going through today. Please understand, dear devotees, if there are two people, there's always differences of opinion. There's always a difference of opinion. There is not like both will have same opinion. Because we're not in the spiritual world, this is material world. There is always a difference of opinion, so conflicts. Spiritual world also they have conflicts, but that conflicts are healthy conflicts. That conflict is actually enhancing the relationship between among themselves. But here the conflicts are actually removing the relationships. Actually, there is no conception like relationship here in this material world because everyone has their own thing to do. That's what it's very clearly established. That's why Gita is very important. In today's DNA, Gita, understanding Gita from the way how acharyas they're giving their realizations. Srila Prabhupada is very clearly mentioning here the unwanted weeds which are there in the paddy field has to be removed. Unwanted weeds which are there, they have to be removed. What is that unwanted? What is that one second. So those unwanted weeds have to be removed. This is what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. So why is proclaiming that as an unwanted weed? Dear devotees, if there is a head of an household, then that head of household is actually telling me should do this, then all the family members will do it. I'm talking about joint families. They have like 4 or 5 brothers. They have children. They have also children. It's a big, it's a big family, 20, 25 people. And the head of the household is telling you should do this, then they would just do it out of respect. Now, if a person is actually feeling that there is some problem, like there's a problem, there's a conflict of interest, then he will actually raise that conflict of interest to the head of the household. So based on that, whatever head of the household will tell, he will actually accept that. He's convinced. He's agreeing to that situation. The moment he agrees to that situation, then it makes sense, and then the conflict is gone. The problem in the in the current society is the conflicts are not resolved. Why the conflicts are not resolved? This is another point to discuss. Why previously the conflicts were resolved? Why now the conflicts are not resolved? Because nobody wants to adjust. The inception of Kali Yuga is actually this. That means this is the fag end of Dwapar Yuga. If you actually see, in Satyuga, the problem were apart. Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga problem came little closer. In Treta Yuga problem came little closer. In Dwapar Yuga problem came within family only. Family, two sections, two parties. Now in Kali Yuga, problem came within only. That means not the not the other person doesn't want to hear. Please understand this. Why we should ask this question again? Why the other person doesn't want to hear? Because the problem is within only. Earlier the problem was within the families. Now, if a person doesn't have a superior in his life, the problem can never be solved. And that superior should be as per Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. You should abide to that. That means if that person develops that relationship with that person, with the other person, if there is a conflict of interest, through that conflict of interest, then it can be solved. Otherwise, a conflict of interest is always conflict only. It is it is important to understand that how this conflict is always a conflict here. Why this actually led to a war? If Krishna actually told the family of Kurus that you should do this, then if they simply accepted, the things wouldn't have manifested like this. So they do not want to accept that. Exactly the same thing is actually manifesting in this Kali. The sadhaka do not want to accept that. Please understand. What the sadhaka do not want to accept? Sadhaka doesn't want to accept that I'm dependent one. Sadhaka always thinks that is independent. Exactly what Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana is actually manifesting here. Dhritarashtra, what is the main primary reason why the war actually happened is Dhritarashtra doesn't want to say anything against what Duryodhana is expecting. Please understand this. Dhritarashtra doesn't want to say. He knows the scriptures also. He knows dharma also. He knows dharma, dharma, all those things. He knows way better than us. But still he doesn't want to go away what his son is telling. Why is it like that? We see generally people, a lot of the parents, if the parents are there, or whatever the children, close the door nicely. Whatever the children, whatever the children are actually telling, they will just do it. Where the children, so that means if the children they're asking something, then they will not see whether this is good to the child or not. Because the schools are also training them like that only. or whatever they want, you just give. Whatever they ask, you just give. So Duryodhana was also in that state only. Actually, Duryodhana was completely envious, which his father knows. He was envious towards Pandavas, but he cannot do anything. Please understand. Why that thing happened? Out of attachment, out of raga. Raga towards that son. There can be two things there, devotees. One can have raga, or one can have utmost service attitude for that child. When the raga is there, without that service attitude, why service attitude means? Because the Lord has kept the jiva in that particular position. If the jiva is actually understanding that this is my service, or my daughter or my son, they are my service. The Lord has given this. I should train them nicely, should lead them nicely. When that is there, then it's a different ballgame. But if this service factor is not there, then this is the greatest problem actually. That is what is missing here. Raga actually comes through that only. Because the person is convinced or thinking that he is my property. Please understand. Now, who doesn't think that his son or his daughter is his property in this world? Everyone thinks like that only. Everyone is actually thinking the way how Dhritarashtra is actually thinking. That's why just like Dhritarashtra had those problems, every person or the living entity, they have those problems in this world. Please understand. The problems in this world are coming through this only. Because this person is thinking is my property. That person is thinking is my property. That means if there is anything happening to that property is affected. Is afflicted. That means don't we get afflicted when our children are in a difficult state? See, as a service, if the service attitude is there, that is another ballgame, dear devotee. But if the service factor is not there, then it's raga only. That means the person is actually thinking that is my son in his own way. What is in his own way? That this son will become a big person and he'll take care of me, or this person will become big and then he will earn so much, or this person is my representative, or whatever all the properties I have, I'll give it to this person. That means a question will come. A disciple was asking my spiritual master this question, very interesting question. The question is, he is going in the street and then he sees a beggar. Giving him 20 rupees or 50 rupees, is that good? Or 10 rupees, whatever. Is that good for him? Because if I give him like 50 rupees, he will spend that 50 rupees by smoking bidi or cigarette or something like that. If he's doing that, then there will be karmic reactions. Then I have to go through difficulties. So, what do you think? What's your opinion? And the spiritual master immediately asks this question, another question. It's an interesting question. What is that question is? For example, if you have 2 crores or 3 crores property, you give that 3 crores property to your son and you write
Now,
everything.
Sinu
And
Prabhupada,
you give the,
Vedumina,
so you give that 3 crore property to your son, and then your son is not Krishna conscious. Obviously, if he is not Krishna conscious, he will use that money. Because, see, for example, if the father is Krishna conscious, he will never give that 3 crore to his son. That means, doesn't he give money to his son? He's giving his money to his son is different strategy. Please understand. Let's say he gave the money. Okay. Forget about the father. Let's discuss about the son. He gave 3 crores to his son. And then the son uses that money for whatever gratification. That means the father, when he gave that property, and then the son is utilizing the property in an incorrect way, Doesn't the father will get the sinful reactions out of misusing that property? This was the question. Question to another question. You're thinking about 50 rupees or 20 rupees when you give to a beggar, thinking that you'll get karmic reactions. Now, what kind of karmic reactions you'll get if this 3 crores is misused? I'm just giving an example. Please understand this. Please understand. See what kind of reactions will come. What kind of karmic reactions will come. No one has any clue about it. This is a problem actually. That means through raga, we never understand that whatever we are doing to our children is always good. That means through raga, whatever I do is correct for me. Through attachment, for example, if a person is attached to a wife or his son or his family, this, that, on a material plane, then whatever he does to them, he feels that that is good because his action is different. Please understand. The raga is very deep here. Very, very deep. 1 second. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please excuse me. I have to drop off today. Thank you so much. I have something else to do quickly. It's an urgent, it's an emergency. Thank you so much. Please excuse me. Hare Krishna.